All right, now we're gonna go to the black cards here. Starting at commons, cheap stuff once again. And yeah, I mean, I talked about it in the archetypes, but I currently have black as the front runner as best color, so we'll see why I think that. So, first card is Embrace Oblivion, single black mana for a sorcery. As initial cost to cast this, sack an artifact or a creature, destroy target creature or spacecraft. Mark's favorite. Mark loves.
Well,
by the way, Mark loves these kind of effects. He doesn't care if he 2-for-1s himself. He's just like, let me get this one mana removal spell. Mark hates these cards.
in my defense, I called Final Vengeance being good in Duskmourn.
You did.
Which it was, and this time I'm somewhere in the middle because like not exiling is kind of big. And there's some things that you actively want to sacrifice, but not. It's not going to be like free.
No.
So if you have to sacrifice like a 1/1 or a land token or something, it's not free. So we both gave this a C, but you do need a lot of.
Yeah, sorry. Last word just cut off there quickly. What was this? That you need a lot of
Fodder.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I think this set's pretty set up for that though. Like I think the black sacrifice theme is fairly fleshed out. So yeah, there's gonna be decks. Just as Mark always gives this warning. I'll give it here. Just you can't just put this card in your deck without a healthy handful of cards. You're like, yeah, I don't mind sacking this. And I'll also note something I caught you saying something in the Discord really smart about these kind of cards when you're thinking about what counts as fodder, right? Like what counts as I'm happy to sacrifice this. It's not just like a 1/1 token, because a 1/1 token or a lander token, like you care about those. Those are things you would like to use, like to attack with, block with, sack to get a land. It's more like things like the nutrient block where you're like, I'm happy to sacrifice this. That's really what you're looking for. Next up, Hull Carver. Single black mana for a 1/1 death touch. Artifact creature. Simple card.
Simple card, but not having reach might really hurt this thing.
not being the sicko uncommon version. Yeah, to use that sicko. Yeah, I agree. It's worse.
Yeah, whether it's dragons or spacecraft, like I think there'll be a lot of big bodies in the sky, similar to how there was in Tarkir,
yeah.
And so I went C- for Hull Carver. You gave it a C.
Yeah. I just think I'm thinking like black blue artifact-y control seems like a pretty good spot for that. Next up is Beamsaw Prospector, 2 and a black for a 2/1. When it dies, you make a lander token.
Solid card.
Yeah, solid card.
Yeah, both gave it a C.
Yep, looks good. Dark Endurance is such a strange card. 1 and a black for an instant. It costs 1 less to cast if it targets a blocking creature. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. It's such a strange card because it's incentivizing you to do something that's generally very bad, which is cast a combat trick on blocks.
Yes.
So that's kind of fake upside in my mind because I never really want to do that because that's of course asking you to get blown out by your opponent's untapped mana. Not one we liked very much. I think we both gave this somewhere in the D or D- range even.
Yeah, I was on D, you were on D+.
Yeah, okay. Next up is Depressurize, another pretty cool card. 1 and a black for an instant. Target creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn. Then, if that creature's power is 0 or less, destroy it. So, a riff on the -3/-3 we usually see, but plays out fairly differently. So you can't shrink something in combat to necessarily to kill it the same way you could in -3/-3. But this also kills 1/5s where your -3/-3 doesn't do that, and a lot of spacecrafts have high toughness, slowish power. So yeah, I think this is maybe it's gonna be interesting to see where how it compares to a -3/-3. But I think if not comparable, very 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 close.
Yeah, this is the thing that actually stopped me from giving the whale the C+.
Yeah, I feel it.
So, I mean, we've seen cards that destroy target creature with power 3 or less before, and they're usually 3 mana.
Yeah. Like Vanquish the Weak,
so
I think.
Yeah. Still think it will be really good. We both gave it a B-.
Yep, I agree. Virus Beetle, he's back. 1 in a black for a 1/1 artifact creature. When it enters, the opponent discards a card.
Yeah, no ninjutsu or suit up, but still every card matters. ETB matters. Not the worst sacrifice fodder either, so C+ from both of us.
Yep, agree with that. Comet Crawler up next, 2 in a black for a 2/3 lifelink. Whenever it attacks, you can sack a creature or an artifact. If you do, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So
I give it...
Yeah, you go ahead. No, you first. You first.
No,
please, Mark. Okay, I'll go first. I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know. This was interesting to me because it's like 3 mana, 2/3 lifelink is like fine, and turning it into a 4/3. Yeah, Mark's like, I don't know about fine. Turning into a 4/3 is pretty good. So it's like a sack outlet when you want it to be one that has to attack, but then if you augment this anyway, like put a counter on it, put an equipment on it, like this turns into a pretty nasty thing at that point in the game. I don't know. I maybe I'm a little bit higher with my rating. I think I gave it like a C or C+ or something. Maybe you can tell me now. What do we give it? Let's put it that.
Yeah, you gave it a C.
Yeah.
I gave it a D+. Like the only time I can see wanting this is if you have like, threaten type stuff where you have an excess of things you're going to want to sacrifice.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I saw this less as a sack outlet and more, there's a lot of ways to augment creatures in this set, or at least, a healthy handful of them. There's like that cycle of equipment, 1 in each color, sometimes 2 in some colors. I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably too high on it. I gave a C+, but I think it's a lot of these like 3 mana 2/3s kind of are not great. I think this one's not bad though. Lifelink's a big deal. Next up is Decode Transmissions. 2 in a black for a sorcery. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. But if you avoided, which, read this out again because it's the first time for black, is if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was worked. Instead, your opponent's the one that loses the 2 life. Little Uno reverse card.
Yeah, that's what he's holding, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's putting it on the table. He's just like, aha, no. Yeah, so what do you think?
I think cards are really going to matter in this set, so I'm a believer in this card.
Yeah?
I gave it a C, you gave it a C-.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I could believe it. Grav Pact Monoist, I believe is how we're going to pronounce it, because I'm going to pronounce it that way, is 2 in a black for a 2/1 flyer. When it dies, we make a 2/2 robot token, or artifact token. Tapped token, by the way. A little bit annoying, by the way. Like, this is like a non-issue to some degree, but there is quite a bit of like, some of these are tapped robot tokens, some of these are not tapped robot tokens, so just be careful about that. This one is tapped, so 3 mana 2/1 flyer that dies into a tapped 2/2.
Kind of nice.
Yeah,
it's interesting that like you might think, oh, this is something I can sacrifice, but again, you don't really want to like give up either half of this.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think this is not a sacrifice card in the traditional sense. Sometimes you can if you have like you really need to cast your removal spell, your 1 mana sack a thing, kill a thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of thinking how this plays out. Like, okay, so if you're on the offense or you're coming out swinging, 2/1 flyer, we're not excited about it, but it's fine. But if you're on defense, like this is not something your opponent wants to see. Like, they don't want to attack into this. They don't want to cast a removal spell on this necessarily. It does come in taps, so you don't get a block if they kill it. But I don't know. I think it's a solid card.
Yeah, it's a 3 mana 2/1. I gave it a C-. You gave it a C.
Yeah. Insatiable Skittermaw is 2 in a black for a 2/2 menace with Void. If you avoided this turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature.
The beginning.
Oh yeah, I said the beginning of the game. So very classic 3 mana 2/2 that grows over time. But I'm slightly more optimistic on this one. That this might be the, like we were talking about, the expensive creatures. Like, oh yeah, fool me once. But it, like, voiding each turn is not that difficult, and it grows at it. Like, menace on this kind of effect is pretty good. I'm not trying to say it's a great card or anything, but like a lot of sets, this kind of card is like, you never want to put this in your deck, and I don't think this card's quite that.
I agree. I also think it's not embarrassing, but not a card you're really gonna care about. So I gave it a D+. You gave it a C-.
Yeah. Temporal Intervention is 2 and a black for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You can take a non-land from it. That player discards it. But if Void is active, then it costs only 1 mana to cast this spell.
I wanted to like this card.
Yeah, I can see wanting to like it. I think it's just not gonna... Like, the play patterns don't make that much sense to me, I guess. As far as, like, something you actively are happy about doing. I don't know.
Yeah, in theory, like, discarding a card should be pretty important in a set with so much, like, value and expensive cards and, like, bombs and heavy hitters. But you really do need to line it up in a very specific way. Like, the buyout baseline, if this baseline cost 2 mana, I think it would have been really good. But
Yes.
3 and 1 means you really need to, like, find the one, and you don't want your discard spell to be too much like setup cost, because by the time you end up setting it up, they might have played the thing that you wanted to discard. So I kept moving this one down over the space of the last few days. I'm now on a D plus. You gave it a C minus.
Yeah, I might even, like, just hearing that, I'm like, oh, I'm higher on you than you on that. And I think I agree with the lower grade. Graveblade Heavy is 2 and a black for a 3/4. If you have an artifact, it gets +1/+0 and gains Death Touch. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? This is Grav Kill. So this is 3 and a black for an instant. Exile target creature or spacecraft. Okay. Solid.
Nice and clean. C plus from me, B minus from you.
Yep, absolutely. Swarm Color is 2 and a black for a 2/4 flyer. When it becomes tapped, you can sacrifice another creature or artifact, and when you do, draw a card.
More of this, like, package, and I really like that they have cards of this power level for the sacrifice deck, because it's not good enough that you'll just put in every black deck, but it's not bad enough that if you're doing the thing, you still won't want it.
Yeah, I think that if you're doing the thing, if you have the nutrient block or whatever, like, you're happy about this. Yeah, I don't know. What did we give it?
I'm actually higher than you. I gave it a C minus. You gave it a D plus.
Yeah, I guess my thought is, even in that black deck, I don't think, like, you know, you're happy to play it if you need a sack outlet, but it's not like, you know, one of the cards you're looking for the deck is kind of the way I thought about it. Yeah, cool art though. Perigi Beckoner. So this is 4 and a black for a 4/5. When it enters, until end of turn, another target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains. When this dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control. You can also warp it for 1 and a black. So it's like a weird preemptive combat trick, or preemptive, like, I'm going to sacrifice this thing anyways. Let me cast this, warp it in, and then, like, I'm going to get that thing back.
Yeah, that's kind of what I see it as. Almost like a combo card type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, unlike a lot of the warp cards where it kind of feels adventure-y, where it's like, oh, you get a little bit of value and you cast it for a bigger cost later. I think you're going to have a lot of spots where you're just, like, not warping this in. I mean, I guess it's just, like, +2. You may just go, okay, put it on my flyer, put it on my creature. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe you are just going to, if you have the mana, you do it.
Well, it's +2 and, like, kind of unblockable.
Kind of unblockable,
right? Like,
yeah.
Trade with it. And then if you can sacrifice it post combat, you're really doing the thing.
Yeah. So what do we
get? No, this one I find tough. I found this one tough.
Yeah, me too. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, we both gave it a C minus, but I could see being too high or too low.
Yeah, that's true. Pumping power, just, like, good for stationing sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. That's going to bring us on to black uncommons now. So once again, going back to some cheap stuff. And Hyalderblade. Yeah, is a single black mana for an equipment. The equipped creature gets +3/+1. The equip cost is 4. Going to stop there. How do we feel about that?
Not good.
Not good, yeah. 4. But no. Void, at the beginning of your end step, if an online permanent left, you get to attach this to target creature you control. Doesn't make me like it that much more, but I can now see it as, like, okay, if you're very good at voiding, maybe it's, like, a niche playable.
I think this card is actually really good.
Okay.
Except for the fact that I think there'll be so much removal in everybody's deck that like sticking a creature and having enough creatures of your own is gonna be the thing that holds it back.
So really good, as in if you can equip this for free each turn, it's very good. I mean, I agree with that for sure. I
Well,
guess.
whatever
Yeah, good.
whatever you put it on, like this is an aggressive card, right? Like whatever you put it on attacks, and they can't just like take 6 every turn. So they're basically like forced to trade or block with it, and then it like auto equip. You likely never have to pay the equip cost ever again. Like even on a turn when they don't, and like, I mean, if they kill your creature, it still triggers. If they kill it on their turn, you could potentially untap and use one of your kills. You can warp things. Like I think it'll be so easy to equip this. It's not really going to matter. The just question is, do you have enough things that can keep attacking to make it worthwhile?
Yeah, right. Because then, like, if your chain somehow gets broken, or you're like, okay, if things traded off and I don't have another creature, then it's like you do have to pay the 4 mana. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, the more if you can just keep getting in, you get the auto equip for free. It's a little bit rich get richer in that sense. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
it's really nice on that common 3/2/1 flyer that makes a 2/2 tap
Sure. Yeah.
robot when it dies.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so grade.
I moved it down last second. I gave it a C. You gave it a C minus.
Yeah, so we're not that far off.
Yeah.
Monoist Sentry, really cool card. Single black mana for a 4/1 defender artifact creature. So very simple, but it's an artifact creature that blocks really well for the controlling decks. It, I would imagine, like enables some really nutty starts with spacecrafts. Like there's gonna be some curves where they go like Sentry into like maybe a 2-drop rare, or even there's like the common one, right? The colorless one, like this. Yeah, right away. I don't know. This card seems a very good synergy card to me.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that they have this and like a single black 1/1 Death Touch at common in the same set.
Yeah, and they're also
like
both artifact creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, they both have like slight upsides over each other in certain spots. But I agree. This one has more. This a C minus. You gave it a C.
Yeah, really cool card. Tragic Trajectory. This is single black mana for a sorcery. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. But if Void is active, that creature gets -10 instead.
And I don't think it'll be that hard to Void. I mean, this also enables Void, so you can use multiples of these. But
yeah,
1 mana sorcery kill anything, kind of. Like, sign me up. We both gave it a B minus.
Yep. I think it's just a good card. This is a really nice one, too. Hymn of the Faller. This is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Surveil 1, draw a card, lose a life. But if you Void, you get to draw another card. So just like Surveil 1, draw 2, lose a life. That's really nice. So like buyout, okay. Maybe not the best thing in the world. 2 mana Surveil 1, draw a card, lose 1. But you're not super sad about that. And then if you get to Void it, which we just said, it's not that difficult. Like, that's an extremely good deal.
Yeah, Knight's Whisper used to be a vintage playable.
Yeah, there you go. And this digs you a card deeper and loses you 1 less life.
Yeah, I really like this card. I gave it a B minus. You gave it a B.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Lightless Evangel, 1 and a black for a 2/2. Whenever you sacrifice a creature or artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature.
Build around synergy / style card, but we both like it enough to give it a C.
Yep. Timeline Color, black for a 2/2 haste. You can cast this from your graveyard using its warp ability. Warp is black and pay 2 life. It's kind of a weird one. It's hard to cast. You get to be very heavy black, which is, I guess, good. Like, black seems to be a color you'll want to be heavy in, given there's a lot of good cards. And then I guess, yeah, like, you bring it back from the grave. It's good for, I mean, it's just like a thing they can keep triggering Void, as in, like, they have to keep answering it. Or just take a bunch of damage, right? Kind of, it's not exactly a Void enabler, but, like, it's adjacent to that. hard to cast is the biggest gripe with this one, right? Like, if you can cast this consistently on like a 12 swamp mana base, it's pretty good.
And you can choose if you want to have both players start on 18 life.
Yeah, there you go.
I do think this is also probably at its, because the haste is good in turns 1 and 2, but it's not that relevant of a body later on, like as an attacker. Like you can block, and kind of keep bringing it that thing. But I am most interested with this in the context of sacrifice.
Yeah, for sure. That absolutely, like, that's like 1 mana, put it in.
Sack it, and you can, and it's not even like you have to wait the 2 turn cycles like you most warp cards, because you can just warp it and sack it and warp it and sack it and warp it and sack it.
Also, just one thing that we haven't mentioned is that haste. If you can find a way to give creatures haste when you have warp on the battlefield, or if you have a haste enabler somehow, which I think there's not that many. There's like 1 in the rare or mythic slot, but just a creature with warp and haste is obviously a natural combo too. Yeah, a bit of a synergy card, but a pretty strong one. What did we give it?
We both gave it a C-.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Umbral Color Zealot is 1 in a black for a 3/2. Whenever sacrifice another creature or artifact. So this is a sack outlet. Surveil 1. So nice, yeah. 2 mana, 3/2. Free sack ability. No restrictions. Seems good.
Seems great. We both gave it a C+.
Yeah. Dubious Delicacy is 2 in a black for a food, an artifact. It's got flash. When it enters, target creature gets -3/-3, and you can pay 2, sack it, gain 3, or pay 2, sack it, target opponent loses 3 life. Nice.
Super Saver.
Yes, Super Saver. Yeah. SA. Whatever. American. Actually, is Saver spelled differently in American versus Canadian? Is that one of those words? Yeah, it is. Okay. I was going to give it the Canadian spelling and then confuse Americans everywhere, but we won't go there. Yeah, but this card seems great.
Yeah, 1 more mana, 1 more minus, 1 more life.
Yeah.
And you can throw it at your opponent potentially.
Yeah, seems really strong.
We both, I gave it a B-. You went up to a B for that.
Yeah, I think just like also being a good Void enabler gave me that little bump up. Faller's Faithful is 2 in a black for a 3/1. When it enters, destroy up to 1 other target creature. If that creature wasn't dealt damage this turn, its controller draws 2 cards. So, a very modal card. So you can, like, if you really need to, kill something and let them draw 2. Okay, not great, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. You can finish off a creature that was dealt damage in combat. You can combo this with, like, a red, deal 2 to kill a bigger creature. It's a sack outlet for your smaller things. So, yeah, it's very versatile.
I really like this card. It's such a sweet design.
Yeah.
I went into the B range for this. I gave it a B-. You gave it a C+.
Yeah, so we're pretty close there. Phil Graveship is 2 in a black for a spacecraft. When it enters, you mill 3. Then you return a creature or spacecraft from your graveyard to your hand. At 8 or more counters, it becomes a 3/2 flying lifelinker.
This is another one where the station to power kind of throws me off a little.
Okay.
Like, that's a lot of station requirements for a 3/2 flying. And like the lifelink, it's a nice ability, but if it's not big enough to tangle in combat, it's not like the best ability.
Right.
I mean, like, life is usually incredibly good,
I see
which
what
I'm
you're
just saying that in the context of lifelink, like, just the fact that it can't necessarily tangle in the late game when you spent so much time stationing it just means that I think it's less good of like an early lifelink creature that you'd get.
Right, I gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I guess I don't see that as that much of a downside. I like, we've already seen a lot of ways to suit things up, make them bigger. Like, I think you can find a way to tussle with it, or at very least, like, even if this doesn't get in, your opponent has a 3 power flyer. This basically holds that back, right? Because if it's a classic situation of, if I have a flyer, or if I have a lifelinker, I can't attack in because you just hit me back, and that negates the damage. So, I don't know. I like this card, I think, a little more than you, maybe. What did we end up grading it?
Yeah, we're only half a grade apart. You gave it a C+, I gave it a C.
Yeah. Scrounge for Eternity is 2 in a black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Return target creature or spacecraft with mana value 5 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Then create a lander token. I did see, I think you bumped this one down today, and it's kind of funny. I was just thinking about this card just as I went about my day today, and I didn't get a chance to bump it down before we hopped on, but I agree. I think I'm not as high on this as I initially was. Seems really sweet. Seems like, 3 mana, get back a 5-drop maybe, get a lander token, but it's kind of a little bit of setup cost, and like in both ways, sacking something and having something in the grave, and the lander token might not do that much. Although I guess if you're just looking at this in like a black sack deck, it's like a piece of cardboard. I don't know. There's a lot of preamble, but give me your thoughts on the card.
No, I agree. I went through the exact same thing where I was thinking about it, and I was like, it's one of those cards where we talked about this before, the best case scenario seems so good, but you got to consider the average case of the card. And there's a lot of things that need to be in the right spot for this to really shine. And I just think it's going to be like a little too finicky to be worth its slot in a lot of cases.
Yeah, finicky is a great word to describe this card. So what do we end up giving it?
I gave it a D+, and you were a full grade higher. You gave it a C+.
Yeah. I'm gonna come down a little bit. I still think I'm gonna give it like a C, because I do think there's a lot of upside. Like when you get to do the thing, it is pretty good. But yeah, absolutely, it's not average case scenario. Like not good in your opening hand, all that kind of stuff. Caesarean Voidborn is 2 and a black for a 2/2, and it's got the the Blood Artists or Salvagers kind of text of whenever a artifact or creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You control, specifically. Sorry. Whenever a creature or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses a life, you gain a life. And it's got warp for a single black mana.
Yeah, the warp seems kind of fake. Like it's a trigger for void.
Yeah.
It's not an ETB, or it's not like leaves play, so you don't even get the trigger when it exiles at the end of your end step. And being a 2/2 versus, like, we just had it as a 2/3, it only triggers off of your stuff. I think this card's kind of bad. I gave it a D+, you gave it a C.
Yeah, I think this card's solid enough. Like the theme is there. Like this is, they throw this kind of card in just sets sometimes, and sometimes the theme is supported, sometimes it's not. I think it's very supported here, and I think the warp is like fairly relevant. Like, you mentioned void. We've already seen a lot of void cards. I don't know. I think it's pretty real. I agree. Like, you're not often like, oh, I really want to get this on the battlefield, and I'm gonna warp it in. It's a little more like, oh, like this is just like a way to enable my void for a single mana. That's pretty good. So I don't know.
And it could be just like a combo card where you warp it in and like sacrifice your whole board, because there are unbound sacrifice outlets in this format.
Yeah, totally.
It's possible.
Yeah. Blade of the Swarm up next, 3 and a green for a 3/1. It's an assassin, by the way, insect assassin. Your whites creature can't exile this thing. So when it enters, choose 1. Either put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, or put a exiled card with warp on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay, so you get to kind of kill it. Kind of kill a warp creature.
It's almost like a sideboard type grade card, I think.
Yeah, like kind of just gets into the playable range, because like 4 mana 5/3 is not it's super embarrassing buyout. Yeah, I don't know. I agree. If you were going to see a warp card every game, it would be great. Like this would just be a really good card. I think you're probably gonna see a warp card, at the time where you would draw this card and cast it. Timing factors, of course. Maybe 50% of the time, maybe even a little bit less than that. I don't know.
Yeah, we kind of graded it. Well, we didn't give it a sideboard grade. I gave it a D+. You gave it a C-.
Yeah. It's cool when you realize what it does, but like it's not all that relevant. Sorry, not it's relevant, but I think it's not going to come up all that often. Vote Out is 3 and a black for a sorcery, destroy target creature, and it has Convoke, which of course means your creatures can help you cast this spell. For each creature you tap while casting the spell, it pays for 1 or 1 mana of that creature's color. I like this card a lot. I think this card's really good.
I could tell. Yeah, you gave this a B. I gave it a C+.
Oh, yeah. No, I think this is just really fantastic. I don't know. Are you down on it because it's a sorcery? Like, we've had cards like this before, and they've been really good.
Yes, I am down on it because it's a sorcery.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I feel ya. Yeah, I get it. I just think that, like, I'm always more impressed with this kind of card. Okay, let me give you a good comparison. The blue one from March of the Machine, right? The top or bottom spell. That card was really good, right? And this is like a little bit better, and you care about tapping creatures sometimes. I don't know. I think it's great.
Was it B level good? I don't remember that.
It was.
I thought it was like a C plus type of card.
It was like, yeah, C plus, maybe B minus if you're being generous. But I think like actually killing the thing is enough of an upgrade over, sometimes you don't want to target an enter the battlefield effect creature or whatever. And black's gonna have a lot of like small things running around. I guess blue did in that set too, so maybe not as much of an argument. I don't know. I like this card. I think I could be slightly high. I agree, but I don't know. That does a lot of good things.
There's no Preening Champion and Rel's Reinforcements here.
You're correct. This is true.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not. I understand your grade, but I'm not convinced enough to move mine.
Yeah, totally. Saurian Dirge Craft up next. This is 4 and a black for a spacecraft. When it enters, each opponent sacks a non-token creature, and at 7+ counters, it becomes a 4/3 flyer.
Ari Lax was talking to you in Discord about how this card kind of is at odds with itself because it creates like a small game, and that like the smaller their board, the more full sacrificing a non-token creature is going to be. But any of these cards that you want to station, you kind of need a big enough board to throw power into it. I get his point. Obviously, he's a fantastic player with better res. I still think this card's going to play out pretty well, though.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, if you just think about this as like 4/3 flyer that kills their worst thing, which I guess that's what a sacrifice is, kind of. I don't know. That it's not even necessarily their worst thing because it doesn't tokens in the mix there. Of course, can't make them sack a token. So yeah, I agree. I saw the same thing from Ari, and I was like, when he said that, I was like, wow, am I just thinking about this card completely wrong? And it could be, definitely could be, but I'm optimistic as well. So we'll just have to see. What do we give it?
We both gave it a C plus.
Yeah, that's about right. Void Forge Titan is 4 and a black for a 5/4 artifact creature, and it is vanilla, except it has a void ability that says at the beginning of your end step, if you avoided, you draw a card, lose a life. So you called this card out when we talked about the blue 5-mana 4/4. That when you cast the artifact to make a 2/2 token. This card I like a little bit better because it can have an enter the battlefield effect most of the time, right?
Kind of. Like there's still a window for them to kill it. But yeah. I was talking about how I got tricked by this, but yeah, you're even higher than I am on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just imagine these black decks are good. Maybe I'm imagining these black decks are going to be voiding more often, or have the ability to void more often than or less often than I'm imagining. But
yeah, hey, you don't need to talk me up. I'm with you here. It's
yeah. So what we have to give it?
You gave it a C. I gave it a C minus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's somewhere in that range. Monoist Circuit Feeder is 4 black for a 4/4 flyer artifact creature. When it enters, until end of turn, target creature you control gets +X/+O, and target creature an opponent controls gets -O, -X, where X is the number of artifacts you control. So makes one of your things bigger, shrinks one of their things toughness-wise. And that's just a really great deal on your 4/4 flyer.
Yes, we had Gurmag Rakshasa underperform in Dragonstorm. I don't think this one's gonna underperform.
No, because that didn't scale at all. Like this scales. Yeah.
Well, also the thing about the Rakshasa was so often you wanted to cast it. Well, there's a lot of things going for it. First of all, a lot of things have 3 toughness, but also you wanted to cast it post combat a lot of times because you would attack in and then like finish off something. Mm-hmm. Notably with this one, even if you post combat it, it can give extra power to itself, which can then be used to like station. So
yes,
that +X/+O can still be relevant even in the post combat.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, so what do we give it?
We both gave it a B+.
Cool. Yeah. Very good. Okay, and that's gonna bring us on to red. So, before we get there, any last thoughts on black? I called it what I think the best color. Do you agree, disagree? Maybe have a change of heart from where you were now that we've gone through the cards?
No, I like black quite a bit. I do think that at rare, it might not have quite as many great rares. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a little bit of a balance thing going on there. But at common and uncommon, it's either first or second choice.